Hello everyone, very good morning. Welcome to our 9 a.m. class. I hope you people are solving summary questions. You are making summaries of the paragraph given and you are comparing the summaries with the options given. You're also reading away or sort of completely avoiding the options which give information which is extra to the information given in the paragraph. You're also avoiding the options which have information which is opposite to the ideas given in the paragraph. And you are also trying to see that which option contains the central idea or it sort of functions according to the primary purpose of the paragraph you are talking there. Also, the option which contains the most number of ideas present, and like we discussed that para summary it need not use, it should generally it is actually 1/3 as a summary of anything in general in English language field. It is generally 1/3 of the length of the actual text, but it is not, there's no thumb rule, there is no specific rule written, but it's a general practice. Also, the data part, certain information, certain data related information, certain numbers of figures, they are also avoided. Certain examples given, they are also avoided. Also, in a summary, the terms used will be different than the actual the actual terms used in the paragraph. Certain synonyms of the word used in the actual paragraph will be used in the options. Also, certain terms which say similar word having similar usages will be used in the summary. So these things happen, but it's, as I said, there is no thumb rule. A summary can have certain terms used, actual terms, because sometimes it is not possible to write a summary without using the terms which have been used actually in the paragraph. So you have to use sometimes the terms, and of course the meaning should not get altered and the meaning should remain the same. I will show you one summary here where you will find that 3 out of 4 options are looking correct. They are using similar term jargon to the if you compare to the paragraph, they are using similar jargon. But when it comes to the accuracy, only one is correct. The other two were sort of you were using the similar terms, they were looking correct, but if you read them closely, it is not correct. It is incorrect with respect to the ideas given in the paragraph. So this has to be taken care of. Also, if you see that sometimes a paragraph or a passage can contain a lot of comparison or a debate. So you have to closely monitor the debate or the discussion happening or the argument happening. And when an argument is happening, then of course the arguments will be in support of one side of the argument. They cannot if it's a balance of ideas, then it is an analysis happening, not an argument. So of course in the paragraphs where argument is happening, there also you have to keep a track of how argument is proceeding, how it is building up its own case. There is one more. So we discussed 2 para summaries, so there is another para summary which has argument in it. So yeah, let's go and let's try and do it. So my name is Anupam. This is I think 5th week we are doing this Just Get channel. We have started VA and RC. This is a 9 a.m. class. We discuss verbal ability questions, actual CAT questions. And initially we were also discussing grammar and vocabulary, but we since CAT is nearing, so we sort of thought we will focus only on the actual CAT questions which have come and help you gain confidence in them. I'm Anupam Saxena, and I have more than 3 years of training and content development experience. And to stay in touch, go to Unacademy, install it, and go to Plus, go to CAT, go to subscribe, and see why I'm asking you to subscribe is, because it'll help in the process in which we are. So if whatever I teach you here, if you don't go and do it or solve it in a sectional test or in a topic wise test or in a full length mock test in a test series, then it won't be helpful. So if you subscribe, you will get access to amazing videos and doubt solving sessions, and you get to interact with the educator. You get access to your test series with amazing analysis of the performance and analysis of each and every question, so you can see that where you are going wrong, and that is how your scores will improve. At the same time, there are a lot of free things which we offer on the Unacademy app, which are like they're free live classes, special classes, and there are quizzes also. Apart from that, there are all the recorded classes which were once happening live and now they're just recorded. They are also available like YouTube videos on the Unacademy app. Special classes live and the recorded special classes which have happened in past, they are available to you free. And of course, YouTube videos are free for you. You can utilize and watch them n number of times. You can also ask questions on the comment section. We'll try and answer most of them, and any feedback is also welcome, of course. So these are the 5 offerings which are there. Anything more than 12 months makes sense. If you look at the pricing, I think this is the most cost-effective pricing. This is the most reasonable fees which any coaching institution or test prep company can ask. 18,900 for 24 months with access to so many offerings, and 15,750 for 12 months. For 12 months, and after using the code Saxena10, you will get these these numbers, and you can get no cost EMI available on 6, 12 and 24 months subscription. So so please utilize it, and also will help you not only in the CAT examination. It will help you it'll help you after the GDPI as well. In the GDPI as well, and after it also. If there are any queries or concerns, we are going to help you. See the people who have enrolled for 24 months, of course, it will be you will be with us for the you'll be not of course, but probably if you do well this year only, you will pass this year itself. But if you are by any chance you're not very happy with the scores, then you might have to do it all over again, 22-21. Or if you are still in the third year of your engineering, or in the or in the second year of your degree course, or wherever you are, you're not in the last year, and you're in the pre-final year, then you are again writing the CAT next year. And we are going to stay together, and we're going to do amazing content and amazing work with respect to CAT. Of course, try and remember that CAT taking examination is of course going to fulfill your aspiration of getting into one of those top IIMs, but at the same time it will also improve your skills in verbal ability, from the numbers standpoint, from the reasoning standpoint. It will improve your skills to that level that it will help you anywhere and everywhere, right? So these skills are very helpful apart from MBA entrances and CAT also. So not only say that it's like trying to say that that don't use it here or use it there or use outside and don't use for CAT, but just a general idea that this is very helpful for you. Okay, coming to the story here, yeah, we have this actual cat question in front of us. Let's try and see this question. This is the question I was talking about initially, that there are four options which look similar. So yeah, I was just seeing whether I'm coming all right or not on the screen. So the passage given below is formed by four summaries. Choose the option that best captures the author's position. This is a paragraph I was talking about where four options I'll show you, which are they 1, 2 and 4. They look correct only. If you read them also after reading with me the paragraph, they will look correct, but they are actually incorrect. In a way, they are not correct. They are not proper. Except the 4 is the correct one, and I'll show you why. Let's start reading it. Artificial embryo twinning is a relatively low-tech way to make clones. Artificial embryo twinning is a relatively low-tech way to make clones. Okay. As the name suggests, this technique mimics the natural process that creates identical twins. So it says that artificial embryo twinning is a scientific process by which the low technology process which mimics means which copies, which copies and uses the same natural process that creates in the same way in which twins are made in the natural process. Twins are in the artificial embryo twinning, they are again made in the same way. In nature, twins form very early in development when the embryo splits into two. So they say that in the natural process, twins form very early. They can be seen very early in the development when embryo splits in two parts. So very early in the development, when the egg is fertilized, at that point, very initially also the embryo splits into two. The twinning happens in the first days after the egg and sperm join. So basically what happens is that so twinning happens in very initial first couple of days after the sperm and egg is joined. Embryo is just made of small number of unspecialized cells. There is a division happening. They're saying that same thing, whatever happens in nature, same thing happens in twinning also. In twinning also, in the first few days after the egg and sperm is joined, the embryo has just initial small number of cells. At that time again the twinning takes place. Each half of the embryo continues dividing on its own, ultimately developing into a separate complete individual. Then after the initial division, post fertilization, both in the natural and in the twinning process, in the artificial twinning process and in the natural process, after the fertilization, the embryo divides into two, and they ultimately developing into separate complete individuals. And it says that since they are developed from the same fertilized eggs, the resulting individuals are genetically identical. So they say that since they developed from the same fertilized egg, the resulting individuals are genetically identical. So they're saying that this happens because of since there is division from the same egg, the individuals are identical. So basically, what is the main point coming out here? Main point with the main thing, there are two aspects coming out here. One is that there is a lot similar, between the artificial twinning and the natural process by which that creates twins, identical twins. What happens is that and after that they say that in both the cases the division of the embryo happens in the initial years. Embryo becomes after the egg, after there is fertilization of egg by the help of sperm, the embryo is divided into two separate cells, into two separate parts, and each of these half of the embryos, they grow into separate complete individuals. So, and then they develop into completely different into identical in certain ways. They are genetically identical basically. So second point is that so these are the 2 points here. Now let's look at the options here. Let me take you to the next slide here. So if you read here, artificial embryo twinning is a low-tech process, is close to the natural development of twins, where embryo splits into two identical twins. Now, embryo does not split into two identical twins. Embryo splits into two parts, which ultimately develop into into people who are identical twins, who are genetically identical. But the point here is that they are basically it doesn't happen as soon as the embryo splits. It takes a while. So whatever we understand from this line is that embryo develops completely into well connected. It develops into two separate people or two separate babies or the infants within the embryo and within the uterus or the ovary, and then it splits into two parts, and then the babies happen. That is not the case here. But what is said here is that initially itself, in first couple of days itself, post fertilization, there is a division, there is a breakage. The embryo turns into each half of the embryo is the embryo is divided into two halves, and each of them develops into separate complete individuals. That is the idea here. Second point is that, so this is the reason why it is wrong, and that's why I marked it in red also. Second option why it is wrong, look at it, and it sounds, all of them sound correct. 1, 2, they all sound correct, but they are wrong. 2 says artificial embryo twinning is just like the natural development of twins. Fine, this part it is correct, and these are all half correct and half incorrect, right? The first part is correct and the second part is incorrect. So you don't know how to so you have to be clear, read and understand and everything in a very clear way. Second says artificial embryo twinning is just like the natural development of twins, where during fertilization twins are formed. Again, similar problem. They were saying that twins are formed at the very last in the first line, which is one extreme, which doesn't happen. Another extreme, they're saying that the twins happen when the fertilization happened. No, when the fertilization happens, after some days, when So when an egg meets a sperm, it becomes an embryo, which is after fertilization. After it becomes embryo, after a couple of days, after a few days only, embryo is divided into two halves, forming two, and then they grow into two separate individuals, which are genetically they are identical twins. Okay, twin, and they're saying that when they fertilize itself, the twins are formed. This is an incorrect approach. This is not the right answer. Okay, so with the embryo splitting and fertilization of twins, they are playing around. Look at how they are forming the wrong band options for you to fall into. Then look at third one also. Artificial embryo tuning is a low tech, unlike the natural development of identical twins after the embryo identical development from the embryo after the fertilization. So it says unlike the natural development. Now this is what? Third is what? Third is opposite. It is opposite or against the information, whatever we have discussed thus far, because we would saying that embryo tuning is just like the natural development of identical twins, right? So here this is using this one word, unlike. It's just one word they've used here in third option, unlike. Artificial embryo tuning is low tech, unlike. This changes the entire sentence, and hence this option is under. Otherwise this option was correct. Just one word which is against the spirit of the passage of the paragraph given, and the option is. So if you just miss one word here, you mark this as a right option and you lose, or you get confused between 3 and 4 and you end up losing time. So even if you mark fourth option correct after 5 minutes of thinking, this question is actually proved very costly for you, right? So very, very, very costly in terms of that for say 5 minutes, if you take for every question, then you will be only able to do now there are 40 minutes only, so hardly 8 questions you'll be able to do, when I think right now the requirement will be very high, will be higher. So, or if you see from a 60-minute standpoint, you will be only able to do 5 minutes 20, like you can only imagine how many questions you'll be able to do. So that is so you have to be quick also. You have to very quickly to understand, okay, this is where the embryo is putting to, this is incorrect, this is incorrect here. One more thing to look at it is also that if you have found the right option, then please mark it. Don't worry about wrong options. I am teaching you how to identify wrong options because it's a teaching process, it's a learning process. If you have found and if you're confident about an option, if it's correct, just mark it and leave it there. Don't worry about other options, why they're incorrect, or maybe if you have a slight doubt, just go through them, confirm your bias, and then move to the next question. Fourth option is correct, obviously, because 3 are incorrect, and there's a reason also. You see, it says very clearly whatever has been said it said, just summarized it. Artificial embryo twinning is a low tech, and it is and mimetic of the natural development of genetically identical twins. So it mimics the natural process that creates. So it's copying it. It's correct. Low tech, it is correct, of genetically identical twins. Natural development of genetically identical twins from the embryo after the fertilization. So this captures it correctly, that after, so it doesn't talk about division of embryo, but it just says it in an overview, as an overview, that after the fertilization from the embryo to after the fertilization After that, from the embryo, genetically identical twins, their natural development will. And this was all we were looking for. We were not looking for any explanations or anything else. We're just looking for a simple line which captures in a way in whatever has been said in the paragraph. All right. Let's go to the next para summary. This one is what I was talking about. This is an argumentative para summary paragraph in which there is an argument, there is a debate. So the author is arguing in support of a particular approach. It says that a translator of literary works needs a secure hold upon the two languages involved, supported by a good measure of familiarity of the two cultures. So a translator needs to secure hold on two languages involved, and understanding the culture, he should be familiar with the two cultures involved here. So requirement is knowing two languages and knowing two cultures. Why? Because you are translating from one language to the other language. Also you are transmitting transmitting something from culture A to culture B also, right? For an Indian translating works in an Indian language into English, finding satisfactory equivalents in a generalized Western culture of practices and symbols in the original would be less than difficult than gaining fluent control of contemporary English. So what they're saying that for an Indian, finding the right cultural if an Indian is translating works in an Indian language into English, finding the right cultural or references or the nuances which can be mentioned, or the cultural aspects, simple cultural aspects, which are similar in the Western and in the Indian world. And to, for example, if say a certain festival happens in India, so there'll be a certain reason behind it, and connecting, an ability to connect to a similar activity which takes place in the Western culture, or say a similar notion which Westerners also have, finding an equivalent reference will be less difficult than gaining the control in contemporary. So finding the culture nuances for an Indian will be easier, and finding the control over English will be difficult. This is what author thinks. It's not about what you think. You may disagree, I may disagree, but for an Indian, he's saying that Indian, in the case of Indians, out of four things, culture aspect, the foreign culture and foreign language, foreign culture will be easier, foreign language will be difficult, right, for an Indian. Now he is comparing the other thing. When a Westerner works on text in Indian languages, the interpretation of cultural elements will be a major change. Rather than control over the grammar and the essential vocabulary of the language concerned. So here it says that for a Westerner, culture will be difficult to understand, that the transmitting, translating something which is written in English and to a local language, then Westerner will be facing difficulty in understanding the culture. Language control over grammar will be easier. In case of Indians, it was different. In case of Indians, understanding culture was easier, understanding English was difficult, right? So it says that it is much easier to remedy lapses in language in a text translated into English than flaws of content. So again, it is saying that flaws, that if the content if you don't understand the culture of a particular language group, you will not be able to translate it properly. The content will be having problems. They're saying that language issues can be resolved. One can sort of fine tune the language issues, but the problem in the content, where the way it is written, that will be a major problem here. Since it is easier for an Indian to learn the English language than it is for a Briton or American to comprehend Indian culture, translation of Indian text is better left to Indians. It says that for an Indian to learn the English language than it is for Briton or American to comprehend Indian culture. So saying that what was difficult for an Indian? English language. And what was difficult for a Westerner? Culture. Understanding Indian culture. But comparing this, it is easier for an Indian to learn English language than for a Briton or a foreigner, than a British subject or an American citizen to comprehend Indian culture. That is difficult for Indians. Understanding English is, so whatever is easier, we must do that, right? So out of the 4 features, 2 were engaged, were posing difficulty for Indians and for Westerners, out of which Indians are having an upper hand in learning English. They can learn English easier than with less amount of effort than British would do to understand Indian culture. So for this reason, that it is easier for Indians to grasp the English language, and it is also and even understanding the culture will also be little easier for them, even further easier than learning the English language. Hence, Indian should be translating Indian works into Western languages into English language. Let's start reading options, going to options. So yeah, sort of, let's read the colored part again. When a Westerner works on text in Indian languages, the interpretation of cultural elements will be a major change. Rather than control over the grammar and essential vocabulary of the language. Okay. So, the cultural elements, understanding the foreign cultural elements in India will be difficult, and control over the grammar or vocabulary will be easier. Again, I'm saying that you may not agree with this. You might have a different view on this. Right? You might think that a Westerner will be having more difficulty in understanding an Indian language than the culture. Culture, he can travel, he can read a number of books, talk to people, he'll understand the finer nuances. But language will take many years. But the author doesn't think like that. So it's not what you think, it's what the author thinks. Again, remember this. Okay, so you have to keep your perspective and your biases and your emotions aside, and you just have to read whatever is written here and answer accordingly. A, let's look at why options are incorrect. Obviously, you can see that C is correct, but why A is incorrect. While translating, Indian and Western face the same challenges. No, this is incorrect here itself, because the challenges faced by Indians and Westerners are different. Indian face difficulty in understanding the control over the command, the skill, required skill in English language, and Westerners will face the challenge in understanding the culture, the Indian culture. So they have different challenges. Hence, reading the first part only, you can negate this answer. But there are different skill profiles, and former has the disadvantage. So this is again irrelevant. Skill profiles was nowhere mentioned. Formal advantage, this is true. So from the first couple of words only, first couple of phrases, you understand that A is a wrong answer. Then comes B. As preserving cultural meanings is the essence of literary translation, India's knowledge of the local culture outweighs the initial disadvantage of lower fluency in English. So preserving the cultural meanings is the essence of literary translation. Indians' knowledge of local culture outweighs the initial disadvantage of lower fluency in so it is saying that preserving culture meaning is the essence of the literary translation. This is extraneous to the entire thing, because nowhere it has been seen. Whatever is said in the B initially, preserving the cultural meaning is the essence of the literary translation. This is irrelevant, because this spirit, this idea, it was nowhere mentioned in the entire passage. This you cannot infer also. What they said was that all the things are important, but lapses in English can be if you translate something into English, then we can rectify the certain challenges. We can rectify certain things which are written grammatically. It will be refined, but flaws of content will be difficult. But nowhere it said that preserving the culture meaning is the essence of literary translation, and Indians' knowledge of the local culture outweighs the initial disadvantage of the lower fluency in English. Okay. And also, if you read it, it was said here that and nowhere about the local culture of India they were talking about. They were talking about the culture outside, because Indians are translating into English. So Indians were supposed to learn about the culture in the western part of the country, in the western world, so that they can make a proper reference from the Indian context into the western context. But knowledge of the local culture was nowhere mentioned here. Also, it was said that gaining fluency over English language will be difficult than understanding the culture in the Western. So this is actually in parts it is contrary, it is opposite to the information given in the passage, in the paragraph. At the same time, it is also talking about things which have never been mentioned in the paragraph. So this B is incorrect for these many reasons. So half opposite to the idea given in the paragraph, and half irrelevant. So this is that sort of a question in front of you. C. Indian translators should translate Indian text into English, as their work is less likely to pose culture problems which are harder to address than quality of language. So yeah, same thing what was said here in if you read after the line which was highlighted. If you read this part, it is much easier to remedy lapses. It is much easier to remedy lapses in language in a text translated into English than flaws of content. This has been said here that their work is less likely to pose cultural problems which are harder to address than quality of language. Same thing comes here. And cultural things have been said here that okay. Okay, and then it comes, yeah. For an Indian translating works in an Indian language into English, finding satisfactory equivalents in a generalized Western culture of practices and symbols in the original would be less difficult than gaining fluent control of contemporary. There's this idea there that finding cultural nuances in the Western world would be, would be easier compared to the understanding the contemporary English, getting control over the gaining required skill set at the English which is being written and spoken as we speak, as in the current modern English. Same thing they said here, that Indian translator would translate the Indian text into English as the work is less likely to pose cultural challenge which are harder to address in the quality of language. And what was said here. So this is the right answer. Also, if you read the last part, since it is easier for an Indian to learn English language than it is Britain or American to comprehend the Indian culture, translation of Indian text. So since it is easier for Indians to understand the Western culture and translate the works properly, and it is difficult for Indians to learn English language, but still it is manageable. And language sort of can be, in a way, it can be reformed, but content cannot be. So Indian translators, translation would be a better idea. Then comes to D. The Westerners might be good at, I'm so sorry, the D option is sort of, the Westerners might be good at, read option D, Westerners might be good at gaining reasonable fluency in new languages, but as understanding the culture reflected in literature is crucial, Indians remain better placed. So it is saying that, but nowhere it has been said that in the entire passage that Westerners are good at gaining fluency in new languages. This is again irrelevant. Like the B, in which B they were saying, right, extra things. Similarly, they're saying in D things which are have never been mentioned in the passage, in the paragraph. But as understanding the culture reflected in literature is crucial, Indians remain better placed. So yeah, again it is crucial, but what has been said has not been said properly here. One thing is here that the first part, whatever they're saying, that good at gaining languages, this is never been mentioned, and again it is somewhere little irrelevant, because in the passage they are saying that it is easier to make remedies in languages than flaws of content. That if you haven't understood something properly and you haven't, the ideas are not proper, then it will be difficult. Language can be reformed here and there, it can be modified, quality check can be done, this can happen, but the idea should be correct, the proper. So what they're saying here is that understanding of the culture is crucial. Sorry, I don't know why this is coming here. It says that is crucial. Understanding the culture here is crucial, which was nowhere mentioned. We said that it is easier to remedy language problems in the language, but it is somewhere there is a but understanding the culture reflected is may be crucial. It is crucial. This is not the idea. We said that Indians will be able to do it because for Indians, understanding the Western culture will be easier than understanding English language. And then we compare English language and Indians understanding English language to British Westerners understanding Indian culture. We found that learning English language is easier than for an Indian than Britishers learning the Indian culture. Saying that culture is reflected in literature is crucial. This is extraneous. This is not relevant to the particular question which we are discussing. All right. So again, C is the right answer here. All right. Sort of taking down a D so that it doesn't look like it's correct. So this is the right answer. This is the C is the right answer. Indian translators should translate text into English as their work is less likely to pose cultural challenge. Let's make it green, so make it very evident. Indian translators should translate Indian text into English as their work is less likely to pose cultural challenge, which are harder to address than quality of language, which was said here. It is easier to remedy lapses in language in a text translated into English than pause of confusion. So this is how it is. Thank you very much. Join me at 2 for the RC class, and tomorrow again 9 AM for our VA class. We'll discuss more para summary. So Unacademy subscription gives you live classes, get to interact with the educator, live polls with leaderboard, test series and analysis, and live doubt clearing sessions as well. Also you get so in Unacademy app you get a lot of free services such as free live classes, special classes and quizzes, and all the older recorded special classes are also there for you to view as videos, and you can see them n number of times. And of course we have got free YouTube channels which are helping you every day. So utilize these services which are free of cost. Also help yourself and help yourself build a career out of yourself, out of your hard work by investing in Unacademy subscription plans which are extremely cost effective, for which we have given monthly in installment options as well, and you can see the quality also whatever we're trying to do here. Use Saxena 10 to get a 10% discount. Thank you very much. See you at 2 PM for reading comprehension.